Hello everyone, welcome back to another edition of Blue Tube. Today we're going to be speaking to you about a stadium tour that me and my dad went on, thanks to the OSC in Solihull last week, Thursday, was it?
Yep.
Forgive us both for our voices, we're still a little bit under the weather.
Still dying.
We'll power on through and get this video out for you because we're really anxious to talk about the stadium tour actually, because it was a really good time, wasn't it, Dad?
Yeah, really good. Nice surprise actually. Really thankful to Solihull OSC. Been wanting to join them for a little while, and we both did, didn't we, a couple of weeks ago. And one of the perks we noticed was getting the tour. So if anyone, I'd really, well, first of all, join one of the OSCs. If you're in Solihull, come and join the OSC. It's cheap as chips. There's lots of good banter. There's loads of things that they do. And one of them, as Ben has already said, is the ground tour, which we'll talk about now. We won't give too much away, obviously, because we want you to enjoy it from the start, but we'll tell a few things, and I'm sure there's a few pics that we can share.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, right from the off, we was off to a really good start, wasn't we? Because me and my dad got there quite early for the tour, and we met a very special someone outside. I'm not too sure why he was there. I think some of his family or friends must have come down to see him for a little while. He might have been showing them around. But it was a good old captain, leader, Christian Bielik, outside the ground. Had a bit of a chat with him, had a picture, which I'll put on screen right now for you guys to see. And yeah, it was off to a tremendous start, wasn't it? I held the League Cup, and then was introduced to our wonderful tour guide, Malcolm, and he was just full of knowledge, wasn't he?
A fountain of knowledge, yeah. He seemed to know everything. And some of the stories he came out with, again, we'll sort of touch upon a couple of them, but do the tour and you'll hear all of it.
Absolutely.
The guy, he's, I think he's a former teacher from the Birmingham area, Malcolm, and thank you again, Malcolm, if you ever see this. And he's written books, and he's sort of integrated teaching around Birmingham into the football side of things as well, from what he was telling me. So that's really something I was quite impressed with.
Definitely. And he spoke us through some of our accolades over the years. There was a few, I don't know what you call them, you know, when you're playing big European games and you pass over those flags from one team to the other and on those little pole things. And there was, I don't know what the name is for them. I'll put up a picture of one now. We're doing that a lot today, aren't we? There you go. There's another picture of that. One from Borussia Dortmund, another one from Liverpool, then there was one from Club Brugge. A really beautiful trophy, or perhaps a gift from the Club Brugge team when we played them in the Europa.
Oh, that was brilliant. Though I mean, do you remember some of those matches where there was just like this swing between the fans where it was singing each other out, and there was accolades.
The game in general.
That's the first thing I thought of then, and that's really good memories for me.
And, not to spoil this, but listen up very carefully when Malcolm talks about Club Brugge and our times in Europe, especially in regards to the pitch and some of the things that we had to do to change it. That was quite an interesting story. That one we won't touch on here. Go to the tour and find out for yourselves.
Let me just say that size does matter.
Right, let's not read into that one then. We got to see some of the hospitality suites. Now, I would have loved to have been able to sit here and have known what it looked like beforehand. I know there was Jasper Carrot Suite and so on and so forth. I've never seen it. It was my first time seeing it, and my God, does it look incredible.
I got to see the inside of like those areas a few years ago, well before Nighthead came in. And yeah, it's all right. Nice. It was tidy. I remember many years ago when my older brother and his company had club class, as it was. We used to go in, have a bite to eat, and come out. And it was good. It was great back then, and we got to see how it was inside, and it was fairly pucker. But now, if you get to have a look now, oh my God, it's plush.
It's a level above, isn't it?
It's on a different level. And to think the money that's been spent on this, knowing that we're going to be moving to the new place at Wheels, it's just incredible what Nighthead, Gary, Tom, other Gary, Craig, not Gary Gardner, Craig. Keep doing that. What they're doing down there, and it's just, I can't say highly enough how grateful I am for doing this for our club. Yeah. Sometimes still pinch myself.
Yeah, definitely.
Still pinch myself.
It's like,
But the place is amazing. Some of the bars, the lounges. Try and get on a tour and have a look. It's amazing.
And one of them, I can't remember what it was called before. It's the sponsors lounge now, and you can only get in via invite. And
Yes.
we was told that just a couple of weeks ago in that very lounge, they invited the heads of Delta down. We've got a new deal with Delta, so they would have been in there having a chat, getting to know the club a little bit more, and the deal that they were just about to embark on. Really fascinating stuff, isn't it?
And it's not so much of a secret, but there might be another deal on the offing.
Yeah, I think that this has already come through and it's already happened, so I don't think that this is
It's
too
not
much of a
been
giveaway.
made as big of as the Delta one.
No,
but
so
there's little signs around the ground, isn't there, for
I
it?
think what is best to do here is even just ask the Blue Noses, because we're not entirely too sure even now. But the Pepsi deal, I think that that's something that the club have. I just don't know to what capacity we have that Pepsi deal, whether it's on the same level as your Nikes, your Deltas, your Undefeated.
Chances are it's not quite as big as the Delta, but
No.
who knows?
Who knows?
Who knows where it might go?
Any Blue Noses know a little bit more about that, please do let us know. But that's as far as we know with that one. Yeah, seeing where Tom Wagner sits. Now, if there's any way to make you jealous of where you're sitting at the moment, it's by looking at those seats there, right in where the board members sit. All these buttons on the side of the seats, all really comfortable. We got to sit down in them for a few moments. I wish I didn't now. I'm not going to be able to forget how that felt. It was good for a moment, wasn't it? And then the view that they've got is brilliant. But,
Well, we sit in the Gilmerick, don't we? Block 8. And I love it, quite like it. We sort of found it by accident, really. One, because I can't fit in the new seats on the Cop, because
Neither can I.
lanky legs and a bit of a belly. But we quite like it where we are.
Absolutely. And after that, we made our way down to the pitch. And a bit of interesting history there. Now, we'll give you this little bit of information. But the pitch that we have now is worth £3 million. I mean, I think we actually spoke about that in the last video when we were speaking about Charlton's pitch and how they might have used some tactics there to make the way that we play our game a little bit more difficult than usual. But they had to reinvest in a new pitch because after Coventry used our ground for that season, when obviously they had their troubles, the groundsman, I mean, as you can imagine, I'm sure you can imagine, you're doubling the workload. He wasn't too pleased because you need a good, what was it, 10
days
where you
turnaround.
leave the pitch alone so it can regrow and rejuvenate. And we just couldn't have that with Coventry playing on one day, then Birmingham coming to play the other. And the pitch just got worn out. And by the end of the season, it looked dreadful. So they had to reinvest. And that's where the new pitch came in.
Well, it's been made public by Gary Cook at the start of the season that we'd spent this money on the pitch anyway.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah, I did see that. And our pitch is now equivalent to Prem quality. They just wanted to go the whole hog from the start. He admitted that. And I remember seeing that out on Blues social media. So that's the aim, isn't it? They're doing everything they can now just to get us up there.
Yeah, absolutely. And what next? I think it was at this point we went underneath the Gilmerick into the changing rooms. We went into the away changing room first, which was quite fascinating. It's the same room that many incredible players have been in before, from your Ronaldos, your Beckhams.
Everybody from when we was in the Prem to even like the top championship sides,
Yeah.
the Europa.
Obviously, people wouldn't have cared about it as much, but now that we have been in there, I'll tell you what, it's really got
It's well
something
worth
about it
going
now.
in now. I've been in there.
And I mean, the home changing room. Once again, I wish that I could sit here and speak about a comparison, because I know that it's been through a lot of changes, and it was said as much that ever since the owners have come in, they've changed quite a lot. I would love to have been able to, because it looks as clean as anything.
There was a few stories, and again, we won't go too much on it about it from what the tour guide Malcolm was saying. But going back before, when it was the old railway end and prior to that, it was probably shantytown level. And apparently, and I'm sure they won't mind me mentioning this, it was the furthest dressing room away from the pitch, and it used to take minutes to get to it. It was right next to the railway, at the railway end, and it was like probably equivalent to a shed.
That's what he compared it to, I
Yeah.
think.
So we've come a long way from the shed there. So
I think
and that's
so.
just it. But then going to the home changing rooms, the dressing rooms, superb, wasn't it? All the blue lighting and all the stuff on the wall and the get up and go that you
Yeah,
want.
and a player left a sock in the shower room. I've got that hanging up upstairs now. Joking, no. It's not hanging up. Once we had left the change rooms, it was down to the media room, and that was the favourite part of the tour for me, just because of the 3 stories. Not going to tell you all of them. We'll just tease one of them, which I found absolutely fascinating, to do with Jeff Hall.
Yeah, this one interests me, obviously coming from medical background. Jeff Hall, blues player, originally from Scunthorpe. When he was 29, he was England capped as well. I think he had about 17 caps for England, off memory. I have read it earlier, but I'm getting old. And he was poorly. He played the one game. He was fit as a fiddle, and then just went off with basic like flu-type symptoms, I guess. Ended up dying, age 29. It was polio, and this led to his wife at the time being part of spreading the word about polio. There was a vaccine available, but from what happened with Jeff Hall at Birmingham City back in 1959 is the reason why we all have this lump of sugar now with a drop of the polio vaccine, and we're all vaccinated against polio because it was a killer.
Wow.
So
it's really fascinating, isn't it? It's like a story like that, it's so incredibly bizarre and very, very sad as well, but
Yeah.
really interesting story. There's plenty more really fascinating tales also about the gypsy curse, which I'm sure many blue noses will know a lot about anyway. But get down there yourself, please look into the OSCs. There's some wonderful benefits of being a part of that. We've obviously took advantage of one, so once again thank you so much to everyone at Solihull OSC for offering that to us. It really was appreciated, and we had a wonderful time. So just to conclude there, it was an incredibly insightful look into the club we all know and love, with some real nice surprises sprinkled in.
Yeah, absolutely, really good.
Well, as always, Blue Noses, thank you so much for watching and spending a bit of time with us. We hope that you found this video entertaining and insightful, and we hope that it's actually inspired you a bit to take up one of the stadium tours and go down there yourself and hear some of the amazing stories from Malcolm, and get a little bit more of an insight and some facts that you might not have known about our wonderful club. We'll see you on the next one. Take care, guys. Bye.